In the late 1960s, Northern California was the epicenter of the counterculture movement. In neighborhoods like Haight-Ashbury, the atmosphere was defined by a public projection of peace and social revolution. But as the sun set over the rural outskirts of the Bay Area, that sense of security vanished. In the darkness of isolated gravel turnouts, an unseen predator began hunting. On December 20th, 1968, teenagers David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were parked off Lake Herman Road. Without warning or provocation, they were shot and killed. These random, cold-blooded murders stripped away the region's sense of safety. The killings marked the start of an era where violence was no longer a distant concept, but a local, unpredictable reality. The violence continued months later in July 1969. At Blue Rock Springs Park, a shooter used a flashlight to blind Darlene Ferrin and Michael Majo before opening fire. Darlene died at the scene, but Majo survived the attack. Majo provided the first physical description of the assailant: a stocky white man, roughly 5'8", with a large face and light brown curly hair. Less than an hour after the shooting, the killer placed a call to the police. He didn't just report the crime, he claimed responsibility for it, and for the Lake Herman Road murders the previous December. That phone call changed the nature of the manhunt. The police realized they were no longer looking for a common criminal, but a predator who was actively seeking a public stage for his crimes. In August 1969, 3 major newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald, received identical handwritten letters containing secrets only the killer could know. The killer issued a direct threat. The papers had to print his enclosed codes on the front page, or he would continue to murder innocent people. When a couple in Salinas cracked the code, it revealed a chilling philosophy. He liked killing because man is the most dangerous animal. The letters introduced a signature mark, a circle with a cross through it, and the official adoption of the name that would haunt the public, the Zodiac. By forcing the editors to publish his messages, the Zodiac turned the regional press into his own personal megaphone, ensuring his presence was felt in every household in Northern California. The Zodiac soon grew more brazen. During a daylight attack at Lake Berryessa, he donned a black executioner-style hood before stabbing 2 more victims. He then moved into the heart of San Francisco, murdering cab driver Paul Stein in a residential neighborhood. Despite the urban setting, he managed to wipe down the cab and walk away before the police arrived. A dispatch error during the initial response proved to be a turning point. Although witnesses described a white male, the police broadcast told units to look for an African-American suspect. Because of that mistake, responding officers walked right past a white man with a crew cut, leaving the scene. They let him go, only realizing later that they had been face-to-face with their suspect. This composite sketch was developed using descriptions from the witnesses who had seen the killer's face while he was cleaning the cab. It remains the most famous image of the man the police let slip away. Emboldened by his escape, the Zodiac sent a piece of Stein's bloody shirt to the press with a new threat. He would target a school bus and pick off the children as they ran out. The Zodiac had survived his closest encounter with law enforcement, not through a brilliant escape, but by walking calmly through a net of human and bureaucratic error. The fact that he could vanish from a city street under such scrutiny made him feel untouchable. For decades, the name Arthur Lee Allen topped the list of suspects. He owned a Zodiac brand watch and allegedly confessed to his friends that he wanted to hunt humans, yet the physical evidence told a different story. Investigators tested Allen's fingerprints, handwriting, and eventually his DNA. In every instance, the forensic results failed to match the evidence found at the crime scenes. Lawrence Kane emerged as another serious candidate. He suffered from brain damage that reportedly made him impulsive and lived within minutes of where Paul Stein picked up his killer. One of the few survivors to see the killer's face, Kathleen Johns, later identified Kane in a photo lineup as the man who had kidnapped her and her infant child. Other suspects, like Earl Van Best Jr., were tied to the case through circumstantial handwriting analysis that was later proven to be incorrect, further complicating an already tangled investigation. This is the central frustration of the case. a wealth of behavioral coincidences pointing to multiple men, but not a single piece of forensic evidence strong enough to hold up in court. After years of taunts, the Zodiac went silent. His final confirmed correspondence arrived in 1974. Not a threat, but a bizarre, critical review of the film The Exorcist. As the letters stopped, the case files grew cold. Over the next 40 years, the killer transitioned from an active threat to a historical mystery, leaving a void where an identity should have been. In 2002, a breakthrough seemed possible when technicians extracted a partial DNA profile from the saliva on a stamp used by the killer. But the profile was only a fragment. It was useful for ruling out known suspects, but it wasn't detailed enough to search a database and name the killer. The Zodiac's longevity is rooted in the jurisdictional gaps he exploited. Because different police departments struggled to share information, he was able to use the press to create a sense of omnipresence that far exceeded his actual crimes. The question remains whether modern forensic genealogy will eventually provide a name. Until then, the identity of the Zodiac remains a dark, unsolved chapter in American history.